I had a friend in rehab once because people go through tough times in life, okay? Yeah, now, okay, that was entirely his fault because he was a rich guy that just got really hooked in coke, whatever. Can you judge him? Probably, because you're probably not a coke addict just spending your own parents' credit card to get it. But if you are, then this is a message directly to you, isn't it? Everybody else, you can laugh at him as much as you want, like I do, frequently. But anyway, so he was in there. He was in there, and he was saying that his time in there, obviously he learned a lot of stuff and he grew as a person, then he's back on coke again. But when he was in there was a group of human beings that he couldn't empathise with. And I think that you know who they are, judging by the title of this video. That's right. They were people that work at Wendy's. No, it was lads. Lads don't work. They kind of do look like people at Wendy's, though, except for with pink shirts, and they'd be like, oh, that's gay, bro. But they are scummy, obviously. Scummy little rat people, and as I've said before on the Friendly Geordies channel, I do think this about them. I think that the 15 worst human beings imaginable, Skaven and Warhammer, should be eradicated off the face of the planet, like the Skaven was, ironically. R.I.P., the greatest of the races in the ancient Warhammer kingdom that no one collected unless their mum said, no guns, you're not allowed to have guns, but I want Space Marines. Well, that was a huge tangent into another psyche of my life that we can get to another time, but yeah, they are very naughty people, aren't they? Lads. And you know what? I think that he made the best observation about them when he was in there, because he was saying that everyone else who was any type of addict, you could empathise with them. Your entire life, think about this, your entire life is sitting around in a circle trying to get other people to empathise with you. There is a lot of crying about your mum and how bad she was to you, much like this entire channel is, really. That's what you're doing every time, just rehab. And look, the white walls in the background is moving. Everybody just wearing these cheap Kmart clothes. It's rehab! But, yes! He was in there, and every time one of the lads came up and talked about their life story, he just couldn't empathise with them. As people, he had this infuriating tactic of any time you started to think, nah, they're okay, they do something really schemy and rat-like. They're just, I'm sorry, I'm sticking with the metaphor. Rat people. Truly rat people. And then, at about 28, they evolve into rat men. And they are truly God's people at that point. At that point, I think after they've been to jail a couple of times and then they think, I'm not coming in again, cuz, fuck this. Oh, fuck, there's got to be another way to make money than stealing money out of cars. But I just don't know how, right? After that point, they get into construction or something like that, and then they mellow out, and they're the most honest, easygoing people you'll ever be around. With all of these terrifying, chilling stories that they kind of just say in day-to-day conversation, where they're like, yeah, when I was in there once, like, some guy just got stabbed with a spanner. That's what, one of them came up to me once, when I was in a pokies room, and just said, what should I bet on? And just put $20 into my pokies machine. She's like, show me, bro. I lost everything anyway. And I didn't even know why I was in there. I don't even play pokies, but obviously, it's naughty. But, yeah, it was, I think it was just because it was the only place that you could drink or something. But anyway, we went in there, did that, and, yeah, he just, like, went on to tell a story about how someone that he was, bunk mates with, got stabbed in the ribs and he's no longer with us. And I said, was that like, a transformative experience for him and stuff? And he was just like, yeah, I guess you made me think about life and all that kind of stuff. Just out of this world experiences, and I think that kind of melds them into a man at 28, way more, but also with this scary boy-like accent for the rest of their life. And that is really creepy, isn't it? The thought of an evil being with this voice just being like, hello, want to play hopscotch with me? Right? So, he was saying that these lads that were in there could never empathise with them because they would always revert to some kind of scummy behaviour where you would think, look, all of your little sob stories of, it's not me, bro, I grew up in the bloody southwest Sydney. Can you imagine how bad that was? I mean, the trains came a little bit less frequently than they do in the northern beaches. There's a lot of that, and yeah, I understand that on a societal level, crime, if it's going to be more concentrated in places that are poor, yeah? because I'm smart like that, I'm a genius, and only I figured this out in the Department of Statistics. I didn't even have to look at it, I just vibed it. But probably that's the case. No, it definitely is, yeah. I mean, look, I've done enough videos about police to know that that's where they're heavily concentrated and outgunned. So that's what's happening in low socioeconomic suburbs. I don't think it's an excuse on a personal level. I don't think it's an excuse on the personal level because not everybody in a poor suburb turns into some car-thieving, durry-smoking, tennis shoe-wearing, rat's tail-having, subhuman. That not all of them do that. And in fact, culturally as well, you want to make an argument. I mean, look, somewhere like Bhutan, way poorer than here, and they are not, for a living, chucking rocks at people's windows so they can smash you to take a purse. This is something that is culturally embedded into them. And in fact, if you read Spanier's book, or if you just watch some of his videos talking about his early life, he says the same things like, cuz it's just all the people in my community, the people that I looked up to, they were all criminals. So there was nothing else in my mind. I went to school and everything like that, but I was like, this is a gay. I just want to go out there and smash some shit and he'll stay. You know what I'm saying, eh? Did you know that they say A at the end of a lot of things? It's called pig Latin, by the way. And this is also a cultural dissection as well as a psychological analysis of it. Very deep stuff. But yeah. They are doing that because in their little bubble, like we all are, I'm always using the analogy of marmosets at the zoo. And then the marmosets, even though these teeny little monkeys in this teeny little cage, all they're doing all day is scheming for dominance over the other marmosets. There's 12 in a teeny cage, but in their universe, in their teeny, dumb little universe, that's still the goal. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what bubble you're in, there is going to be a set of rules that dictates the hierarchy of that bubble and accomplishment in that bubble. Achievement. And in that one, obviously, because you can hear all of the endearing terminology that they use around it, such as, I was doing this and that the other day, and every time they do that, what do all the other little rat boys do? Yeah, true, brah, true. This and that, just not going to incriminate myself. There's heaps of that. There's heaps of all of those kind of endearing words around it, risk to reward ratio, and others. I'm not that well versed, but I have noticed it when you go and listen to all of these, gutter rap interviews between each other. They're always laughing and giggling when they're talking about doing illegal activities. What is the laughing and giggling? That is acceptance, is it not? Because in my life, if somebody, commits Grand Theft Auto routinely, you know what I think? That person's fucked. I'm not going to hang out with them anymore. But you want to be around that person. You want to learn how he's getting away with all of these grand high tallies and not going into fucking bloody, whatever that prison's called, Junee. Not doing that. So they are moving around these people and they're gravitating towards them because in their society, that's accomplishment. That's how you tick the goal off. Because there are these wide, arbitrary concepts almost of what success is on a societal level, such as having a lot of money, having hot women surround you all the time on a yacht with your bald pit bull head as you dance around in the Caribbean and they just shake their asses in front of you while you're in a white suit. There's that, and then when it comes to your local bubble, say that you're in a corporation, what are you doing? What's the sign of success? Partnership. So everybody moves towards partnership, and they act in a way, their behavior starts to morph where they want to go in that. So if you want to be head Adlai, well, you're going to have to get a lot of those little rocks that smash car windows and collect them in your pockets, aren't you? That's your real currency, those rocks. But there is always a currency, and there is always rules, and there are always ways of moving up, of ticking the box, of saying, ding, today was a successful day. And if you don't get that hit, then it isn't successful. And these change from, group to group that you are in. There is always going to be a different set of achievement. Even when you're talking with some other friends. Yeah, you know how some groups of friends joking around. is like a little ding on the bell. And if you don't add to the joke, then everyone's kind of just like, yeah, I guess so, yeah. And then you might have other friends that are really deep. And if you don't add something that's deep and meaningful to the conversation, then they think you're being silly and immature. And then you have other groups of friends that if you aren't doing something ass backwards insane, like jet skiing in the middle of a road off of a highway overpass and then kind of surfing the cars on the highway. If you're not doing that, and that's obviously a very, very common pastime. That happens all the time, as we all know. If you're not doing that, then you aren't getting the little tick and social ding of approval. That's what's happening there. That is the reward mechanism in that culture. The reward mechanism in that culture is, as Spaniard sums up very well, scallywag behavior. Okay? But here's what I want you to think about. We were just alluding to it before. I want you to think about what your own scallywag behavior is. What is the behavior in your circle of friends? This is a two-parter. You want to write this down. This will be very, very important for you to determine the dynamics and, first of all, what you're even aiming to do, because this is the whole thing. When it comes to Say the Lads, I'm sure, because of how fucking dumb they are, a lot of this stuff is just subconscious. Until they're about 28, and then they become super self-aware, and then it's not subconscious at all. But when they're just little 15-year-old idiots, that is going to be, I'm assuming, quite subconscious. And I think that you need to be very conscious of what your little bell dings are. Okay? So we're going to write this down. You write down number 1. What are the achievement rings that you get in your group? When are you the little lab rat that gets the little pellet of food of, yep, well done, that was a mad burn. And this will be the same in family dynamics. You want to know in each dynamic when you are rewarded and when you are punished. Because I'm imagining when you're in the lad circle, if you aren't, and this is the other thing that he was really infuriating, what he realized about being around the lads, yeah? Every time they ever did this, he realized after a while, their little victim complex thing of, you don't understand, bro, you don't understand these streets. It's just that little shit in school that every time they got in trouble went, miss, don't yell at me, my stomach hurts. I think I need to lie down, miss. And then they go outside and smoke weed in the toilets. It's just another tactic to get away with more scallywag behavior. So you want to be very conscious of it because it starts seeping into all of your behavior. You start coming up with all of these little tactics to come to that little like, yay, reward mechanism, you get the pellet. You will. You fucking will, don't lie to me. Show me some respect. So do that. And then the other thing that I want you to know is, what is your personal little ding, ding, ding? Because you're going to have one. And you should be very, very conscious of what it is, right? My little ding, ding, dings. When I craft a script that I think was engaging from beginning to end, and obviously because, I just have to churn out so much content these days. A lot of it's just like, yeah, good enough, there's your Macca's burger, eat up your slop, you pigs. There's a lot of that, but when I actually do get the right little essence down and distilled, I give myself the little ding. I give myself the little ding because I think that if you are able to make something engaging from beginning to end, really unique skill, and you can use it in the future, and this is what I've linked it to, something bigger, some more changes. Not change in your pocket, because you get big bucks if you're able to do that. Oh, what a play on words. No, I'm talking about huge radical social change. I really do think that a big reason that the Liberal Party are out of power now is because they were memed out of existence. Now, obviously, we were one brick chipping away at the bridge. But that brick exists. That brick exists. People that like to have their news given to them with jokes, and I think that this is just anything, yeah? Like, you can have the same information, the exact same information. My entire career is proof of this. Just a bunch of boring professors writing things on reports that no one ever reads. I will read those reports and I'll get 200 views out of it, 200,000 views out of it, right? And it's because people want to be entertained when they're being informed. Being informed is not enough. And I think that after a while, being entertaining is not enough. Being entertaining after a while is like just eating nothing but cotton candy. So I like to combine those two things. And when I think that I've done that particularly well, I give myself the little reward ratio. The reward mechanism, not ratio. I'm spending too much time on Twitter. And then The other one that I give, obviously, is when I think that it has just been well crafted. So really, all I am ever trying to do in life is search for getting as much engagement as possible. I'm not even talking about the likes ratio, although it would be nice if you left one, you little selfish cunt, because I know you fucking don't on these, and it's purely because I don't remind you to, and then you go, la la la, I've got no responsibilities in life. Well, what about me? Did you ever think about my problems? So maybe you should do that. And so that's all I'm getting out of this. Yeah, I want you to think about what your reward mechanism is. Because obviously, being a little thieving, petty, Oliver Twist-like character, except instead of soot being on your face, you've just got these little squinty eyes for some reason. I think that's the most defining character trait. Every time I ever think about a lad, I'm just like, where are your corneas? So you've got that. You need to focus on that, but you also need to focus on when are you giving yourself the reward mechanism, and for what? What are you doing this for? Because you can change it. And if you change it, you change your life. Because what are you always seeking in life? You are seeking that, oh, yes, I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy, aren't I? Because you're a dog! And, speaking of, if you're going to be an obedient little dog, you may as well sign up to Jordan Shanks, and I will train you. I will train you to be a police dog. That is all self-help is. All self-help is training you from being some disobedient little shit, and then I'm Dr. Harry, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so you got a cat, do you? My solution would be just jam your finger up its ass every time it pisses on the lounge. It'll stop doing it after a while. Yeah, there you go, little fella. That's me. That's me. This is my finger. The finger's me. And this is your anus. Yep. That's what I do to it every week at Jordan Shanks. I just jam it up there, feel around. Oh, yeah, now it's all widened. And now I can just, Is that a good sell? Can you just sign up to Jordan Shanks? You're really doing yourself a favour if you are, because it's really just such a minimal investment for such infinite wisdom that is going to change the trajectory of your life. Here, I just want you to be aware of that. I want you to be aware of what your mechanisms are. But if you want continual and never-ending improvement for the lowest price imaginable, you sign up to Jordan Shanks. And I'll see you next time.